Hey everybody, Chris Scott here. I am really excited to get back in the podcast studio today. I feel that we have so much ground to cover. We have lots of statistics. If there's one episode you're going to want to tune into, it's this episode because we're going to go through all of the statistics that are impacting the Ottawa real estate market. And we're going to go through them in detail. And I'm joined here by my co-host, my partner, Colin.
Hey, hey,
Thanks
good to
for
be
coming,
back.
buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. I want to share before we get in. I just wanted to share a story. Yesterday, Aiden's off school right now, and so we're always looking for things to do. Andrea was working, and I wanted to take him around yesterday. I had some errands to run, pick up some stuff from clients. We're all over the city, so he hops in with me, and we picked up a few lock boxes, did a few things, and then we have a client out in Almont that I wanted to deliver a basket to personally. And so we went out there. We stopped at this place called the North Market, got some granola for these clients. I brought one home for Andrea as well. We had dessert there as well. He thinks all we do is just drive around and listen to music and get treats, which is pretty funny. But we get to the client's house, and it was just so nice to see them. I hadn't seen them in a little while. And it's been such a journey for them getting to the point where they're now unpacking boxes in what they consider their dream home. And Aiden came in with me and met them, Rod and Kim, and we had a nice visit. And then it was pretty cool to have Aiden kind of see what we do a little bit as well,
Yeah.
and see the impact and see the connection we have with our clients, because you get to know your clients pretty well through the process. And I get home, and we're all watching a show last night. I got a really nice message from him I want to share. Last night, where is it? Here it is. Hey, brother, thanks for the wonderful basket. You're too kind. Best realtor I've ever worked with. I hope your son is proud of the man you are. You're an amazing person. Like, what a nice message from a client, right? What a nice message from a
That's
client.
fantastic.
And the backstory there is a pretty crazy story. Going back to the start of last year, we listed their house in Stittsville, and Rachel on our team was hosting an open house, as you're well aware.
Mhm.
And I'm at a golf course it's a Sunday, and with my brother. I was a guest. I was playing with him for the first time at his new golf course, and you can't use your phone. So she had tried calling me a few times from the open house back to back. I can't answer. And then she texts me and she says, "This house is on fire," or "The house is on fire." And I didn't think the house was actually on fire. I thought the open house was on fire and they're really busy. And so I said, "Oh, nice." She goes, "No, the house is on fire." And she sent me a picture of a flame. And while she was closing up the open house, she had gone upstairs. She was turning off the lights in the house. And she turned off the light in the spare room and then went to the next room. As she was coming back across the spare room again, luckily she looked, and the light fixture had caught on fire. It just went up in flames, just like that. That it was not newly installed. It had been there for a couple of years, just like that, just up in flames. So it comes down from the ceiling, and Rachel should have just got out of there, but she went in, she grabbed. I guess there's a piece of it that wasn't on fire. She grabbed it, and it was pretty good thinking. She went because it was carpet and it was going to ignite, and she went to the bathroom and threw it in the bathtub, and she closed the door. Obviously, called 911. Unfortunately, the bath curtain went up in flames, and that room was very damaged. But if it was, the bedroom, it would have been a lot worse. It would have spread a lot faster, I think. And yeah, anyway, pretty crazy. I mean, if she missed that, like if she didn't see that flame and just walked to the house, it was a semi, so both places would have been up in flames. But so I get that. So I obviously get on it and talk to Rachel, and she's obviously, this is quite the experience that she's having right now, and so I have to call the client. He's at a cottage at the time, so I call him and I say, "Hey, just want to let you know that your house right now is in a fire. Basically, there's fire trucks that are there and are on the way at this point, and it's a scene, and I just wanted to make you aware." And I mean, my heart's pounding, at that moment. And he says to me, he says, first thing he says, he said, "Is Rachel okay?"
I love it.
I'm literally telling a client that his house is on fire. He says, "Is Rachel okay?" I said, "Yeah, she's okay." And I'm worked up. I'm this is a big deal, obviously. And he said, "Chris, it's just a house. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Fire department's on the way. I'll call my sister and she'll come over there, meet them." And you really learn a lot about people by how they react to things. And that was such an incredible feeling. No, because you get to know somebody really well, obviously in the aftermath of everything and figuring, where you go from there. And, the place, I'm telling you, like this is a full on fire, rooms destroyed, like a bathroom upstairs had to be redone, new flooring, the water was, water damage. And, anyway, so yesterday was the day where I went over. They're in their new house now, and so it's been obviously quite the journey. But they're just we're so lucky to do what we do, and really have the chance to meet so many great people and really get to know them. I don't think there's many other industries where you have service experiences with people where you actually have the ability to really get to know them as people, and you just meet these special people, throughout your
Mhm.
career and year. Like I look at my client list this year in particular. I don't know. I just we're having a great year with people. Just really awesome people we're working with, and I feel like it's been great. And as you get more busy, it's harder to have those genuine connections with people. Like you have to really not work hard at it, but just feel like it's time. Well, that's all connections are based on is time, right? So, and being genuinely interested in their story. Everybody's got a story, and being interested. So anyway, I feel like that was a long story, but
But a good story.
yeah,
Very good story.
yeah, yeah. It was fun. But you've been busy since so I was away. You were holding down the fort for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you did a good job of clearing everything up before you left, mostly.
yeah. Much like
So
you're doing before your trip.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, but a lot of stuff happening right now. I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, we're into July, but still, we've got new listings that are selling. We've
Mhm.
got buyers we're working with. Always house hunting trips. Interspersed in there. We've had a couple lately.
Yeah.
So yeah, keeping busy, but having successes as well on both sides, buyers and sellers. So it's been great.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge. It's always hard when you're overseas trying to deal with stuff and
Mhm.
with the time change. I kind of love it though in terms of because when you're in Europe, I just got back and we're 6 hours. I feel like no matter what, I have the morning, right? So between 9 and 2 or 9 and 1 in Europe time, nothing is happening. Everybody's sleeping here. And so that was kind of nice. And then by that time, you're probably back at your hotel. And obviously, I'm dealing with some stuff. I was up late a few times, dealing with a few things, but it was great. One thing about Europe, I'll tell you. We were in France. We were in the Riviera for 5 nights, and then we transitioned to Spain and Mallorca for 5 nights. We had an unbelievable
Sounds
time.
great.
Very very hot. But when we get over there, I'm so interested in real estate. I can't get away from real estate. When we're in these old towns, I'm often, always stop at, and my kids are pulling me away, but I often stop at these boutique, real estate brokerages. I'm taking pictures inside, and I have, a phone. I must have 20 pictures of different real estate brokerages, just to see how it's set up inside, how the desks are, what the vibe is like. Because obviously, at one point, I want to do something like that with us as well.
Hmm.
Have a really great setup. And I always look at the prices of the real estate too. And we spent a couple days touring Monaco, and what a city that is,
Nice.
or country. I mean, Monte Carlo being the city. Um, it's such a weird, in a sense, it's a weird place. It's beautiful, it's clean. It's just there's so much money concentrated in such a small country. Like in terms of everybody, it just seems like has a supercar. There's Lamborghinis rolling around, Ferraris. we were there and we saw two Bugattis, which the kids, I think that was the highlight of their trip
Yeah.
was seeing these Bugattis drive by. But it's a weird vibe, like in a sense of obviously the extreme wealth is there, and there's a lot of tourists there as well, and obviously we're the tourists, and it's like the everybody's watching the wealthy people, and the wealthy people love the attention
I
of
love
all the
being
tourists.
watched.
It's so weird,
Yeah.
and it's like we're the paparazzi and they're the celebrities, and you're watching them come out of the and and they're all they're how rich they are just by looking at them, and they're all decked out in these outfits or whatever. And there's basically crowds of people watching people come out of a hotel and hop in their supercar and drive away. It's a very weird experience. It would like if I mean I would never have that kind of money anyway, so it's going to be lost on me. But
Do
that
you
would
want
not
people to be watching you,
no
Chris,
that
when you come out of a
that
hotel?
would not be my vibe in terms of that city, and nor would I ever be able to afford a place in there because we did stop at a boutique a real estate place there. We didn't go in, but I saw in the window. So I'm going to quiz you.
Okay.
Obviously, you're not probably going to be close because this is very, very hard. But
We'll see.
we're in Monaco. Okay, so richest country per capita in the world, and very small. So not a lot of real estate. There was an apartment for sale. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. We're 930 square feet. Okay. You have a water view, a little bit of a harbor view.
Okay.
You have an ensuite, 2-piece ensuite. So you're not even getting full ensuite in your bedroom. What do you think the price would be? Obviously in euros, which is, the about 1.5 times more expensive.
Is there parking?
I don't know that, but because it's all in French, but I'm assuming parking. I'm assuming there's a spot for your Bugatti.
For the prices that it sounds like we're talking about, there better be a parking spot. How much is it for sale? I would say, okay, I don't know. Let's go 1.8.
1.8. You're like that seems like
1.8 million euro dollars.
So that's probably 3 million Canadian dollars for 900 square feet. So that is currently for sale, and I'm looking at it right now, and it's the furniture doesn't even look that nice. It's narrow, 4.275 million euros, $6 million Canadian for a 1-bedroom like apartment that doesn't even look great. It has a view over another building to the sea. Anyway, that's the kind of money we're dealing with in those parts, and
that's crazy. Just a list price though.
That's just a list price.
Who knows where that'll end up, right?
Like I don't even know the market there, but that seems like it's high.
What does a price reduction look like on that?
God, that's crazy. Spain wasn't much better. Spain was pretty expensive too. We were popping around in Majorca, and if I was to live in, I've been to Europe, quite a bit over the last few years, and I think if I was to live in one place, I'd have to brush up on my Spanish, but I think Majorca would be the spot.
Yeah,
beautiful spot. Yeah, we pulled into this town called Porto Cristo. It's not a touristy place. It was not on the list, but couldn't get another place. So we're like, oh, Porto Cristo, I've heard of that. Rafa Nadal, I think that was his hometown. So we go over there, and beautiful place. There's no hotels there really, so a lot of locals on the beach, and have these beautiful cliffs around this harbor. And we look up and talking about real estate, see this absolute compound. Like you wouldn't believe this place. Like right sprawling over the cliffs, over the ocean. So ocean on one side, harbor on the other, all the yachts, beautiful beach. Anyway, we found out that it was Rafa's house. That's his where he actually lives year round. That's his pad. So
interesting.
Kids were pretty, even though they didn't know who Rafa Nadal was, they were pretty excited to know that that's where he lived.
We've already moved on from Rafa. The kids don't know Rafa.
Well, no, they're not big tennis guys, but yeah, it was pretty cool. So I looked at some other places in that town, and I think Leon Draisaitl has a spot there too. And Andy was mentioning that. So anyway, pretty cool.
Maybe we'll get over there for one of these podcasts.
Yeah. So you'll have to test me the next podcast. You'll have to find some real estate and try to test my knowledge of Ireland.
How much in County Meath for this 4-bedroom bungalow?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So anyway, switching gears here, we are going to get into the market. How would you describe the market right now if you were describing the market?
How would I describe the market?
Mhm.
It's weird. I think it's a tale of two markets. I mean, we've got kind of the headlines or the numbers,
Mhm.
which are always pretty general, obviously.
Mhm.
A lot of averages, etc. Um, but we've still got different market segments, even between like condo, apartment, townhouse, single family, like r- different ranges of inventory, and obviously people buying into those markets or exiting those markets
Mhm.
for something else. Um, so it looks like there's lots available,
Well,
balance to buyer's market feel and everything that you're reading. But on the ground, it's still like there's a lot of people out there. Some areas don't have as much inventory available, or they're
mhm.
just desirable areas. I was working in Blackburn Hamlet,
Yeah.
which I think is a great little pocket,
Oh, yeah, hey,
a
I
little
grew up in
secret
Blackburn,
gem.
man.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
love it. And there's like lots available, kind of, but not really. And people want to get in there,
There's not a lot of
and
good stuff available. Like, there's inventory, but not good inventory.
yeah, maybe. But then we put up a house, and a few days later, it's conditionally sold, and
Yeah.
like there's people who are looking at different pockets, waiting to make a move. The buyers are still out there. So, I mean, I've been working with a lot of buyers lately, because it's a great time to find something without any pressure in a lot of situations.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a place to sell. Like, if you're a buyer
And
with
that's clutch. Yeah,
no house to sell, you're in a
you're in
great
like
spot.
mind. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just gotta be patient and wait for the right place.
And I mean, even now, I mean, getting into the summer, we'll talk about maybe what the summer might look like
Mhm.
compared to spring. I mean, usually it gets a little bit slower, so to speak. But we'll see what's going on there in the next couple months.
Mhm.
If it's going to move into a situation where if you have a house to sell, you can get some good conditions in to protect you or something like that. But
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, 100%. No,
Yeah.
that's a good synopsis of what's happening. I mean, when I look at the and we're gonna get to the numbers of June and also of June year to date. So everything since the start of the year, and then we can compare those stats over previous years and really get a gauge on kind of how we compare historically to some of previous years. When I look at June and we're looking at new listings, as you can see, this is a pretty telling sign here. Okay, so we have now some of these are relist houses that maybe didn't sell and are being relisted, but 3,100 new properties for sale. That's more than any other June in the past 10 years. Okay, so that's really interesting to see, and that's just going to show that inventory is rising, which is our supply, and demand isn't really rising with it. So it is the market has been changing a little bit from that perspective. When we look at sales activity year to date, um, and I like year to date numbers because you're using you got more stats that you're using here to get a clearer picture of how it compares to previous year to date times. And as you can see, sales activity, like, we're down. I mean, we're down over anything over the past, when they don't have 10 years here, but we're down over it in the last 10 years, except for June of 2023. So we have a lot of new listings coming in. And we're not getting the absorption. They're not being absorbed into the marketplace as quickly as they have been in the past. And when I look at months worth of inventory, which is really the months worth of inventory is a statistic where if no other new listing came to market, how long would it take to sell the current inventory? Well, according to this, it would take about 3.4 months based on our sales to absorb what's available in the market. When we compare that over the past years, that's quite high. As you can see here from this is a little bit easier to read. I mean, we're at 3.3 this is for June, so this is just the month, and 3.4 for June year to date, so a little higher. But you look at that graph, really shows you quite a bit, and we have more inventory available than we have had in basically 10 years. All right. Do you feel that on the ground? Like, yeah, I mean, I feel it a little bit with some of our listings, especially listings that are like basically if you're selling in Russell and in Embrun, Rockland, Castleman, small towns that Carlton Place, maybe if it's townhouse, I think there's a lot there.
Hmm.
Like this is a ride. It could be 6 months. You could be well priced, well conditioned, nice house, and it could still take you 6 months to sell, right? And so I think sellers' expectations need to be aligned with that. That it is a longer journey, and if you're not well priced, you're just not going to sell. It's not going to be. It's not a matter of time. It's just not going to happen for you. You have to be.
Hmm. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
So as we, I like this graph too. Actually, this is telling. This is active listings currently on the market year to date when compared to other times. So you can see there's almost 4,000 listings on the market right now. Or actually, sorry, that's year to date on average. There's actually close to 5,000 listings on the market right now in June. And again, most we've seen in 10 years. So you have these peaks and valleys. But the one of the most telling things about all of these stats is, you know, we're still in a balanced market. You know what I mean? We've been in a seller's market for so long. Like even here, if I look at the single family market, so this is, the detached market, single family freehold. Like you look at 3.1, that's barely into a balanced market. It's, you could say 2.9 would be seller's market, and 3.1 would be, balanced market, but very much closer to a seller's market than it is to a buyer's market, which would be more like, you know, double that. So we've basically had a seller's market here in Ottawa for 10 years and an extreme seller's market for like 3 of those years. So we've said this in previous podcasts. It just feels like it's a worse market than it is because we're so used to these sellers markets that anything where things take a little longer feels like a buyer's market where it's really not.
No,
Right.
no, this is
Yeah.
normal,
Yeah.
I guess.
Very normal.
But it feels like the end of the world for some people.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, it's more manageable. I mean, again, it's managing expectations for buyers and sellers. But once that's out of the way, it just takes a little bit longer, or you have a better chance at value, on the other side if you're a buyer.
Yeah.
It's not the worst.
Yeah.
And it's, for us, it's easier to predict maybe what will happen with a listing or the buying process with somebody, depending on where they're looking. It's less crazy and doesn't fluctuate as much. We're building back to, I think, back towards where we were. I don't think it's going to be that extreme for a long time, but we are getting back there, but slowly at a gradual pace.
Getting back to work. So you think this is going to go up and then come back down and be more?
Well, I don't know if you can see, but it looks kind of like a cycle to me, which
Well, yeah.
I'm talking now in
Peaks and
terms of
valleys.
10 years, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
is it going to continue to go up before it starts coming down, or do you think we're plateaued a little bit?
I think it's basically stabilized.
Yeah.
I think that, like the stock market, maybe if you're trying to hit rock bottom, I mean, and again, there could be market segments that still have a ways to go, I guess. And maybe even, I would say, in certain cities, right? I mean, condos in Ottawa, there's quite a few. That's going to take a bit longer to rebound than other market segments in Ottawa. But certainly that segment,
before too.
but it's not as dire even as in Toronto. And Toronto's rebounding as well to a certain extent, right? It's going to take a while longer in Toronto, but
it's going to take years. I think it's going to take a couple of years.
Yeah.
Their condo market is so.
but it's coming back. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're trying to sell for a price that you like, maybe if you're that condo owner, you're not going to find that price that you like in that way for a couple of years, probably.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a dumpster fire. Everything's is over. We gotta unload this, or we're gonna keep losing money anymore. I think.
Yeah.
A little bit of patience now. I mean, if you can hold it. In those certain market segments, and it will come back. It'll come back.
Maybe
slowly,
we'll come
but I
back
think
to
it's
like
coming
Monaco
back.
prices at one time.
To Monaco prices, yeah. But then again, I mean, if something happens to change that, obviously that's always the possibility.
Yeah.
But all things being equal, looking at it, on a broader scale, I think that we've seen the worst of it for most part, at least in Ottawa,
Yeah.
and we're kind of building back now. Maybe not as fast as people want, but it's coming back. Yeah,
Yeah.
confident,
Well, that's good. I
optimistic.
mean, I like your optimism.
Got to be
Yeah.
optimistic. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't take, I mean, I feel like it's going to take a little bit longer. Um, but I do believe in Canada. Like, I do believe that we're going to have, a lot of growth over the next 5 years. I think we're going to, we have what people need in terms of resources. And I do feel like, we're hopefully going to get things like I've talked to military guys who said they've never seen things go so fast in terms of the procurement process on a few things. Like, hopefully some of the red tape is being taken off a lot of these things. We can get some projects online and get things going. Um, but I think we're going to do really well over the upcoming years. Obviously, there's some economic uncertainty right now. Everything the last 6 months, it's been a lot.
Hmm.
But hopefully and this all has a very close relationship with prices. People aren't out there making big decisions a lot of times when they feel that economic uncertainty. We've talked about that in previous episodes, but consumer confidence obviously is a big part of this.
Hmm.
Supply and demand is a big part of this. In terms of where prices go and where we go from here. But what I see basically is a market that is a little bit more challenging to sell in, depending on the neighborhood, because you have to have everything going. You have to have the house in good condition. It's got to be staged. It's got to be marketed really well, which obviously we can help with, and it's got to be priced really well. And I
Hmm.
feel like if you're missing one of those elements, it's going to be challenging. If you're missing a few of the elements, you're probably going to be sitting. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Especially if that element is price, because that's going to be very
Well,
important.
what you can do right now, it's like if your house or your property doesn't is lacking, one or two components that make it really sellable, the adjustment you can make maybe is on price. But that's not something a lot of sellers want to talk about sometimes,
Mm,
right? I mean, that's the adjustment is price.
mm.
Price changing the price can be a marketing strategy
Yeah,
and help
realistic.
you out. It's just
Yeah,
we don't always like the numbers that would make sense.
sure.
Um, so
So we're looking at the townhouse market. So this is interesting. When I look at the townhouse market, we actually have more inventory in the townhouse segment than we've ever had in the last 10 years. So
yeah.
that's an interesting thing to look at and to monitor, because that's telling me that is going to be pushing probably towards a buyer's market sooner than later.
See, on the ground, it kind of already is. I mean, maybe it depends on the neighborhood you're in,
Yeah, I
but my
feel.
neighborhood, I mean, they're still building new ones, first of all.
Mhm.
But everybody that purchased one that now it's, they couldn't hold it or they can't hold it anymore. And now they've got to sell it. Plus, naturally, people moving up from the townhouse they bought 3 years ago to a single home because they have a bigger family now or whatever.
Well, yeah,
There's always lots on the market there. But I mean,
the numbers reveal that there is, to your point, the demand is still there for them.
the
It's still
demand
it's
is
it's,
there.
it's still a segment of the market that is getting demand, because you look at this. If you go back to this, all these listings, but you actually look at months worth of inventory. It's actually pretty reasonable. 3.2 in June. I mean, that's just into a balanced territory. If you look at year to date, it's actually just in the
Yeah.
seller's territory.
Yeah.
So tons of inventory, but still buyers. There's a lot of people in that segment of the market, in that price point, first timers, that type of thing.
There
So,
are, but I
yeah.
mean, we talk about, I mean, by the numbers, that's not a buyer's market,
Not at all.
right?
No, no, no,
But
no.
but in
Yeah,
this case, it does feel like a buyer's market. I guess maybe you go into a neighborhood of townhomes, and there's a lot that you
there's
can
a
choose
lot.
from,
There's
and
a
a lot of
lot.
them are the same. Like that's the thing,
Yeah.
right? So by the numbers, not so much,
No,
but in
I
person, that one is like, yeah, that's kind of a buyer's market right now. You've got your pick of the litter.
I do predict that's going to continue up slightly in my mind. I think there's that number of the months of, well, it's already up. I mean, 3.2 in June. I think that will rise a little bit because there's a lot on the market right now. And I think that demand in the summer might tail off a little bit. Well, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
We'll do this, a couple months. I like doing this. I like getting into the stats, by the way, because
really.
yeah, well, no, when you get a lot of months to look at,
Yeah.
like I really like seeing, because you get a really clear picture of the market. Really, it's very easy, and of course, when we meet with clients, looking at the stats in their neighborhood obviously is very important. which we do, and an overview of the whole market here. And then this is not surprising. Obviously, we're down from our peak. That's what the market looks like for all of the different categories of properties in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can find this on our website. We're not going to get into the nitty gritty here of all of the suburban stats. So looking at different neighborhoods, but just wanted to look at. I mean, when people think of a suburban house, I think they think of the 2-story double garage home. That's got the lot, the yard,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of the suburban house, if you will. So I look at that. We'll look at those just to compare, from area to area. But like Stittsville's an example, average price $953, same amount of sales exactly year to date over as compared to last year. $981 was the average price last year, so down slightly. Days on market, interestingly, is up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not accurate. Those numbers, the days on market is not an accurate number because what the number should be is cumulative days on market, which our board does not track as of yet. Because, a lot of times a journey to get a house sold, you're on the market, you take it off, gets relisted, new price. You're on the market for a while, gets relisted, new price. So they're only counting the last time it was listed. So those are a little bit off. That's going to be probably closer to 60 days. When I look at Canada, 912 for that same segment as compared to 951 last year.
Significant, right?
Yeah, significant. Days
Yeah.
on market up
Not as long on the market, like not as big a
a
gap
delta.
from
Yeah,
last year. Yeah.
yeah. Orleans is actually up slightly. So they're 861 as compared to 855 last year. A lot of sales there, 267. Sales are down slightly. I will go back to Stittsville for a second too. I remember last year, for whatever reason, there was a lot of big sales last year in Stittsville that could have impacted those numbers. Like there was like 3 houses on Cypress Gardens that sold.
Mm-hmm.
All,
Yeah.
we sold one for over $2
There's only
million.
so many on Cypress Gardens.
Well, it makes a difference, right? So interesting to see those stats. I mean, Orleans, from a value perspective, your money's going to go the furthest in Orleans in terms of all of the big suburbs. Riverside South, over $1 million in that category. They're up from last year.
Nice.
Barrhaven just under 9, slightly down from last year. Days on market about the same. So always interesting going through all these numbers, and a lot of our market, is decided by where those interest rates are, and you can see the Bank of Canada rate. Obviously, we're down.
But can I show you what I see there?
Yeah. What do you see?
I see lots of wee, and then stability.
Yeah.
That's what's going to bring consumer confidence back.
Yeah.
It's
Agreed.
going to get people engaged in the market.
Yeah.
It may not be the best for either side, I guess you could argue at different times, but stability is what helps because you can predict what's going to happen and you know what the outcome will be in a predictable amount of time.
Yeah.
This is very useful in our business.
I agree with you. Yeah, that's exactly what we need with everything going on is stability. Because you look at that interest rate now, that what I would consider that interest rate to be a neutral rate, which means it's not helping us or hurting us. Where obviously in terms of the real estate market, obviously where you're at 5, it's hurting us. And if we can get down even one drop, we would probably get into that territory where it's going to start helping us. But to your point, the stability is actually helping us, right? Not fluctuating, and I think that if we can keep that going and get another maybe a 0.25% rate drop there, I think it will really help us. But I think the big picture is obviously in Ottawa is the gap between where your house is now and where your next house is really what you look at. So the market may fluctuate and has fluctuated. But a lot of times it's really the gap between your current house price point and the next house is what we're looking at. And that gap fluctuates as well as prices do. But if you are looking to, get into, a more expensive house, it's probably a better opportunity now because prices have come down on those homes, as of probably your house too. And but there's more appreciation typically in those houses. So when the market goes back up, you kind of want to be settled into that house and have a larger potential appreciation. So these are the type of conversations we're having with clients is okay, what does that look like from a dollar perspective to get into the new house? Obviously, there's a lot of fees in a typical real estate transaction, commission on selling your house, lawyer fees, land transfer tax, all these different elements. Looking at your mortgage, what's your new mortgage? What does that look like if you have a new rate, a blended rate, whatever that looks like. So, I think it's important to have those conversations with your agent and really understand the financial calculations before pursuing that, and that's what we do. Obviously, that's part of what our job
Yeah,
is, and
and it should be. I mean, it's a individual basis, right? I mean,
yeah,
I think that's for me the takeaway is that I mean we can talk broadly about the market, et cetera, but if you've got more equity in your home than the other person I just talked to, that maybe changes your situation. If you
yeah,
bought into that townhouse and now you need to get out quickly, versus if you've been in that townhouse for 6 years, your outlook is probably a little bit different.
yeah. When you got equity,
Well, I mean, that's the big difference is the equity, of course. But you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, I mean,
yeah,
that changes what might make sense for you, maybe, and then going what kind of mortgage you might get, or how that affects your day to day payments, et cetera, based on where you're starting from. But I mean, that's what we do, right?
yeah,
Everybody's in a different situation, at least slightly.
yeah,
Make
for
sure it's
sure.
right for you when you're making a move, right?
Yeah, and what the right process is. Sell first, buy first. Obviously, everybody's in a different position, and we kind of walk you through what that looks like. If you're interested in that, by the way, I mean, if you ever want to sit down with a member of our team and go through that, feel free to reach out. You'll never find a more low pressure approach to real estate than us, and obviously we got a lot of insight. We know what we're
Yeah.
doing, and we've been doing it for a long time. I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. It's been great to get back here, and I want to wish you a great holiday. You deserve it,
Thank you,
and
sir.
we'll get back in here when you return.
Right on.
Okay, thanks
See you soon.
everybody. Take care.